Jeff from the Woods Trucker channel. I'm coming to you today from my back porch. This is not the video that I was intending on making at this point in time. However, I've been sidelined by a little bout of pneumonia, and it's going to take me out of action for about a week or so. So again, this is not the video that I planned on making, but I wanted to send a message out to everybody that I was thinking about you guys. Been watching videos while recuperating on the couch, and seen some pretty good stuff out there. So I'm aching to get out there and make one of my own videos. I am planning an overnight adventure. I do have some new gear. So what I thought that I would do is, this time of my recuperation, is I thought that I would make some short sort of preview gear videos of the things that I plan on using when I do get out here after I overcome this little batch of pneumonia. So without further ado, here we go. Okay, YouTube, so let me show you what I'm going to do. I brought you inside, and I'm just going to show you a gear rundown of some of the things that I plan on using this summer for any overnight camping, hiking adventures that I plan on going on. So be patient. Let me run through this gear. Again, if I start coughing, sorry about that. I am suffering from pneumonia. So let me get down to this. First of all, I tried to fit everything in to my trusty Osprey 34 liter, but this is the small medium size, and it actually only comes out to about 32 liters. So everything fits in there, but there's no room for anything. I mean, no room for water. So all my gear does fit into the various pockets, but no room for water. Can't have that. So out with the Osprey, which would be my preferred carry, and in with the Mountain Smith. This is a Maverick model, and it's about 9 years old. It is a 60 liter pack, which is way too much for my needs, especially for just an overnight trip. If I was going out for a week or so, this thing would be perfect. But 60 liters is too much. What I find is I'm needing about 45 to 46 liters. So what I'm going to do is, this pack, the lid does remove, so I'm going to remove the lid and just use it without the lid. So lid, be gone. So what we have here is just a basic pack. It's monstrous. You could stick everything in the kitchen sink inside this bad boy, but I won't need it for that, but it will come in handy down the road. Again, I bought this pack about 10 years ago. It's seen very little use. I planned on getting into backpacking when my daughter was fairly young, but life just kind of got me sidetracked. And so I ended up never using this big pack for anything more than throwing about 30 pounds in it and walking through the metro parks where I used to live. So it was just solely used for adding some weight to workouts. So anyways, this is what everything's going to get stuffed into. So let's show you what we have, alright? Let me set that aside, and where to begin? I don't know, let me try to get some order here. I'll be right back. Okay, so let's start with my shelter system. First of all, this is a summer trip, and I'll be using my Ozark Trail 40 degree mummy bag. This bag was a budget purchase. It was I think $39, and the big thing that sold me on it was how small it is. You can compress this thing down to nothing. Now the downside is that even though it's rated for 40, it's actually only good down to the maybe about 58 to 60. I've had it down to 58 with a sleeping pad, and I've been fine. But I'll talk about that in a minute. I do have to bring extra clothing to compensate for the fact that this bag is just simply not that good in terms of insulating. when the temperatures get down below 60 degrees. So more on that in a minute. But I'll be using that as sort of my top quilt for my hammock system. And here's my Hennessy hammock hex fly tarp. I have not used this. This is a purchase that I splurged for myself a little bit this summer. I bought 2 new pieces of gear. The hex fly is one of them. I have yet to use it. I was planning on using it this past weekend, but the pneumonia kicked. So that's going to be for future testing. I imagine I'll get great use out of that many years. All the things I've seen on YouTube are that the hex fly is an awesome piece of kit. So second of all, in my actual second part of my shelter system is my new Grand Trunk Skeeter Beater hammock. I've watched several of my friends on YouTube use these things, and with great success. So I thought, you know, it was on sale at the local sporting goods store, and I picked that up for about 60 bucks. I am looking forward to using that as well. And with it came the these were on sale for $15. These are the Grand Trunk tree slings that go with it. Again, I have not used that system, so I can't attest to how well it is, but all reports indicate that it should be a pretty good system for me, especially as I'm a beginner. And if you watch YouTube, there's all sorts of crazy you can get with hammock equipment. So I'm not there. I'm not sure that I'm ever going to get into the crazy stuff. But for now, I think the Grand Trunk is going to work just fine. Of course, some stakes to lash it all down. I do have a hunk of paracord to set up my tarp if needed. I think there's some clips on that. I won't even need the paracord, but anyways, I don't know. Underneath it all, I have not gotten sophisticated in terms of underquilts, but I am using my Ozark Trail Thermarest knockoff. This works really well. I've taken it down into the 50s, no problems. It was a little bit uncomfortable in my Grand Trunk ultralight hammock, but the Skeeter Beater is a little bit bigger, so I think we'll have better success with that. But that's going along, and let me get over here. Next up would be, let's go to clothing systems. So I have to bring a few more pieces of clothing because of my my sleeping bag setup is not reliable, but I always bring the old Grateful Dead beanie. Regardless of what I do, it follows me. A couple knee straps, bad knees, some basic clothes for sleeping in, extra change of drawers, and here's what I'm compensating with is a long sleeve thermal shirt to sleep in, and a pair of long sleeve thermal bottoms to sleep in to compensate for the sleeping bag in case it gets cold. I'd rather not bring those because that's extra pack weight. But until I upgrade my sleeping bag, it's what I have to work with. Now, what I'm going to hike in is I got some basic wicking t-shirts, both treated with permethrin, Sawyer permethrin, keep away the ticks. I got one pair of hiking socks that'll be with me, one pair for spare the next day, and right now I'm just using a pair of old cargo pants treated with permethrin. Until I upgrade, I do want to get some zip-off pants, but I do not have those yet, so for now we'll just go with those. And then, of course, my boots. These are the Garmonts that I've been using forever. They're taking a beating, but I just kind of keep holding them together. And I'm not going to buy any more boots. I'm going to go with trail runners, I do believe. I'm looking at a couple different models. I believe that's the way I'm going to go as far as hiking footwear goes. All right, moving over here. This is my, believe it or not, this excuse me, this is my rain gear. This is about 20 some years old. I used to use this. This is a Performance Cycling Company rain gear that I used to use back in my cycling days in college, and it's a jacket and pant combo, and they basically fold into the pocket of the the jacket. And I don't know how it's going to work for hiking. I've never used it for hiking, but I can tell you that I've ridden for 30 miles in downpouring rain and stayed dry. It does not keep the sweat out though as well as I would like, but it should do a great job for hiking. I also have a rain cover for the pack. Excuse me. Basic do-it-yourself first aid kit, just the basics. That could be a whole nother video. Some basic toiletries, wet ones, whatnot. Of course, DEET. I was doing some research. It says that if you combine DEET, and this is the Ben's brand DEET, if you combine DEET with the permethrin, you pretty much eliminate ticks and mosquito problems while outdoors. Guaranteed. U.S. military apparently tested that system and it works just fine. Of course, always my fire kit goes with me. That's got 2 ferro rods, a couple lighters, and an emergency batch of Esbit cubes. My Mora Companion heavy duty. Love this knife. It is my first bushcraft knife. I take it everywhere. It's super lightweight. It will not hinder anything in terms of weight on the pack. Take that with me. I use it for everything. I have a shock cord, a paracord. I am going a Hank paracord rather. That'll be narrowed down to about 50 foot from the current 100 foot that you see. In terms of lighting, this is just a basic $6 Ozark Trail headlamp. It does the job. It's not going to do it in the rain, but it does the job in dry conditions. And until I can upgrade, that's what I have. Of course, a pair of work gloves. I'll bring the $5 Walmart tarp, and I'll probably not take one of these in favor of this trash compactor bag. This is going to go inside the pack, line the pack, and then everything goes inside of that. Why? Because this Osprey rain cover is not made for the Maverick backpack. It does cover it, but it's a stretch. So I'm going to rely on trash compactor bag to keep everything dry. And with the rain we've been getting, I'll probably need it. In terms of meals, here's my food bag. I have some coffee and the sundries in there. Some basic things. Coffee, creamer, sugar. And then I'm going to rely on Mountain House meals. I got a lunch. I have a breakfast. Breakfast skillet, love that one. I have a lunch, sweet and sour pork. And I have a beef stroganoff with noodles. All 3 are very good. I haven't decided whether or not I'm going to use a hydration sleeve or not. I tend not to like them, but I'll be taking water bottles. Probably swap out the Nalgene for 2 of these. They're a little bit lighter weight, but the Nalgene is bomber, so who knows. For this trip, I'll be taking my ultralight cook kit. My pack weight was pretty heavy, so I had to do some things. So what I decided to do was just go with the a basic alcohol burner setup. That's the lightest way you can go. I don't really prefer alcohol. But looking to cut pack weight, that's what I went with. Stove fuel, that'd be narrowed down. I'll probably bring about 4 milliliters, or 4 whatever it is, but probably half of that is what I'll narrow that down to once I get closer to the trip. And then finally, last but not least, my Sawyer squeeze filter. I love that thing. And of course, like Syntax 77 has, he's got a little scooper. I'll bring that as well. Alright, YouTube friends, that's pretty much my gear loadout as I see it right now. And hopefully we'll get out there in the real world soon and be able to put this stuff to a test. What I'm really excited about are these things right here. This is my new kit for the excuse me, new kit for the shelter system. Really looking forward to that. Alright, YouTube, I'll be back. And take care out there. Thanks for bearing with me. And have fun. Enjoy. Get out. Play. It's Woods Trekker signing off. Adios.